I had a good education. But of course, like any kid growing up in a rough neighborhood, you're gonna get into your little issues and problems and stuff like that. And I did, I did. But then there came a time where, specific to this situation, where guys from my neighborhood, you remember the Source Award? Back in, I don't know how old you guys are, but back in 1995,
Yeah, the East Coast, West Coast,
yeah,
beef and all that. Yeah.
yeah, the Source magazine held their first award show in New York City. Um, there's an individual from my neighborhood by the name of Killer Ben, and in 1995, 1995 was like a real tumultuous year, because of course the East Coast West Coast thing happened, and
Mm-hmm.
at that award show, Killer Ben was just released from prison, for the attempt murder, on two police officers, and he's a very Killer Ben is a very close associate with Rakim, the the rapper. So when he came home, it wasn't surprising for him to be in that type of environment at an award show. So he's at the award show, and fresh out of prison, right? And there was, everything that I'm saying, and let me say this. Of course, there's going to be certain things. I still have pending legal actions
Okay.
against the state and the
Mm-hmm.
city.
Gotcha.
So there's certain things that I wouldn't be able to get into in detail, but I'm definitely going to give you an overview of everything that happened. Um, Allegedly, there was a guy in Biggie Small's entourage. Um, you know, Biggie was there. He performed at that award show. We know the story with Suge Knight and Snoop Dogg got on stage and stuff like that. But at that award show, one of the individuals allegedly that was with um, the Notorious Big in his camp was robbed that night
Mm.
for a Rolex and a chain. And allegedly, Killer Ben robbed him. Um, um, his name is Benjamin O'Gara, and there's a mural to this day in Brooklyn of him, in Four Green Projects. But 2 days later, Killer Ben was killed at a payphone,
Mm.
and it Killer Ben is well known. Let me just say that.
All right, yeah.
And when that happened, it caused basically a war, an explosion, right? You had people trying to, you like had people just trying to get revenge because of it, and it was a frenzy.
But hold on. Sorry.
Okay.
Back in the days, those days, there wasn't really cameras on the corner.
No,
So what? There was speculation. I mean, who you getting revenge on? And let's be. You could be careful with your words. I'm just saying, did people know who did it? So you saying it was assumed
it was assumed.
because of the Rolex situation?
Yes,
Got it.
it was. It was assumed.
Gotta be careful,
right? It was assumed in the sense of no, because at this point it's in the paper already.
Oh, okay, okay.
It wasn't a secret at this point. It was. It was when Killer Ben got killed because again, Killer Ben was well known. So even when he came home, it was already monitored. You gotta remember he went upstate for attempt murder on two police officers. So when he came home, the precincts or when certain people come home from prison, the precincts go on alert.
Mm-hmm.
They put parole on alert. They put, because they feel you a certain threat to the community.
Of course.
So they know when he came home, right? And they kind of followed. It happened sort of quick. He wasn't home that long when all of this transpired. So he got killed at a payphone, and so it was a big thing. It wasn't like a small thing. The retaliation, everything was documented. There was a lot of people that was killed and shot after that. On one particular shooting, 5 people were shot. There was 4 people and a little girl named Shimon Johnson, 4-year-old girl by the name of, she rest in peace, a 4-year-old girl by the name of Shimon Johnson was shot and killed in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Of course, when things like that, anytime an innocent bystander, old lady get hit by a stray bullet, a little kid get killed, just, a aspiring college kid get killed by a stray bullet, it's gonna bring the public into a frenzy. And why does it bring those type of things bring the public into a frenzy is because it's senseless. Not only is it senseless, but to top it off, is an election year. So they looking to lock somebody up for this. That was like, even before the girl got killed, people was in the paper saying, listen, I got to bring my kids upstairs. When the street lights go out, these guys are from Fort Greene and coming over here and shooting up the place. It was crazy. Cab drivers was getting shot. It didn't matter.
First, because it came up, Killer Ben and the story with the girls equated. Actually, it came up together. Question: do anybody know what he was doing by the payphone?
Supposedly, he answered the beep. Those were the days of the beepers. Supposedly, allegedly, he got a beep on his beeper and went to that payphone, the closest payphone, to return a call.
Got you. And people were coming from different areas, basically. Because after Killer Ben got killed, because he got killed near where? Where did he get killed near?
He got killed in Fort Greene on Myrtle
Fort
Avenue.
Greene. Okay, he got killed in Fort Greene. Because you have a story about him right here. And he gets killed, and then a domino effects, because now everybody is assuming, allegedly, that it derived from the Rolex taken at the Saucer Wars. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he got killed. He got killed, how many days later? You said the next day? The next week?
2 days, right?
2 days later.
2 days later, he got killed.
Well, there's okay. Well, there was an investigation. Everything is rumored. I don't know if you ever heard of the hip hop cop.
What's his name again?
It's a Spanish detective. I can't remember his name.
I tried to reach out to him through this guy. His name is Darnell or
something like that.
Yeah. What about him?
Well, he investigated it, right? Some people say that Biggie Smalls was the one that sent the hit. Some people say that. Some people say that, the hip hop cop investigated it. Biggie rapped about it. Right? So it's speculation, of course, right? But if you're close enough to the situation, you can kind of separate what's truth from fact.
But let me ask you a question real quick. You got to be careful when you state it. What was your relations or friendship with said Killer Ben? At the time he passed away, they said he was 26 years old, Benjamin, yes? Mm-hmm. But what was your relationship with him?
I have a relationship with him.
You didn't have a relationship with him?
No. I know him in passing. Like, he was like an older guy to me, right? Like, he was like, yo, what's up? What's up, shorty?
At that time, you was about 18, 19?
When he got killed, I was probably 18.
Got you. Okay. Let me make sure. That's all.
Yeah. So he was not really he was not really in my age bracket. Not just that, but, and we speak about this all the time, young kids back then almost, I don't know what it is. It seems like society, when it comes to young kids, and this is why I like to come out and speak about this topic, it seems like we've progressed in a lot of ways, but regressed in a lot of ways, right? A 15-year-old kid back in 1990 was different from a 15-year-old today. I mean, and there's so many examples of that, right? When you think about the Black Panthers, you think you're talking about some old guys. They were young. I mean, how many 25-year-olds you see like that today? 22-year-olds that you see like Huey P. or any of these guys, right? You don't. And so it's like that in the street too. You know, at 15, look at Alpo and them. And all he did, you know, that whole Paid in Full, all the people from Harlem, from Queens, these were young people. Look, Killer Bang got killed at 26 years old. He already had a history. So I'm saying that to say that, yes, I was 18, he was 26, but his 26 was more like 40.
Got it.
I was advanced for 18, but for that time period, right? Not now, right? We wasn't into playing games, Xbox, like that wasn't my teenage years, right? I got locked up at 16 for a gun. So before this, right? And this is why being in that life, it's funny because when you think about wrongful conviction, you might think about, which I was a good kid, but again, I grew up in the projects, right? I had certain influences, so it was more than just one side to me. I was in college by the time I was 17, but I still got locked up. By the time I was 16, rather, but I still got locked up for a gun, right? Because you growing up in an environment where you living next door to stuff is happening, and you don't want to get bullied or punked, right? But at the same time, you know, you going to school and you doing what you need to do. You coming from a good household, you know what I'm saying? So, but then a wrongful conviction happens. And then it spirals into something that I couldn't see. You know, nobody wakes up and say, damn, I'm going to get locked up for a homicide and 4 attempt murders. Who wakes up and say that, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, throw a crooked cop in the mix, you know, which made it worse, which made the situation worse. You know, it's one thing to be accused of something you didn't do, but, you know, when you throw a crooked cop in it, it makes it worse.
But my question is, let me back up a little bit. So, as a child, you said your parents. Were your parents? You said your parents are from where again?
They from Liberia.
Liberia, Africa. Okay, and as a child, you know, of course they were strict, but both of them lived in the same home. Yes.
Yes.
And them being strict, did that push you outside more? Because usually stories is when a kid is outside getting into wrong things, either the father's not in the home and the mother works hard. You know, what was it with your situation? Did both parents work hard? Because, you know, I know as immigrants coming into
both parents did work hard, and but I got into more trouble after my father left the home.
So your father left the home.
Yeah.
What age did he leave the home?
He left the home when I was like, probably like around 11, 12.
Do you remember him leaving the home? What?
Yeah.
Can you bring us to that day?
Yeah, my father used to hit on my mom. You know what I'm saying? So I witnessed abuse, and then eventually that turned into them getting separated, right? And I remember them asking, him asking like, who you want to live with?
You that.
Right, yeah, like who you want to go with, like who you want to live with. And I didn't want to live with my father. I didn't want to live with my father. I chose to live. Actually, everybody chose to live with my mother. Everybody got the choice, but everybody chose to live with my mother.
Why is that, you think?
It probably was one of the most crucial decisions that I made in my life. Now thinking about it, because my father was strict and was hands-on, and he didn't play. Not only did I know that, my neighborhood knew that. Like, my friends knew that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, your pops is crazy. Your pops is mean. Like, he mean. Like, he don't smile. He's not a jokey type of guy. He's always got a serious demeanor. He's one of them type of dudes, you know what I'm saying? It's
right.
real serious. So, and that's how he ruled. He's like one of the dudes that ruled. He's a foreigner. He rules his house with an iron fist. It ain't about, I'm not talking to you. Do You doing this, and that's it. That's so I wanted to get away from that, right? Because I got friends who his mother is smoking. His mother's smoking crack, so we could go up his crib and do anything. For a little kid, they love that.
Of course.
Freedom.
Right, freedom.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm not.
his pops.
Not met him personally, but we seen him when he was little. Going in and out, coming from work or whatever, going in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't make
His mom's is a sweetheart.
Right.
I love her.
Yeah.
But his pops was like militant, look like, you know what I mean, when we was young.
Mm-hmm. What was his story? Why was he so militant? What was he back in Africa? Like, was he in some sort of, or he was just
where my parents was from in Africa, they're very family oriented, but they're very strict and big on principles. Like my sister just went to Africa. She just came back like a couple of days ago, and she was telling me she was like, yeah, I was out in the like in the market, what they call a marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
For us it'd be like downtown, any place downtown with shopping areas and stuff. But over there they call it the marketplace, right? So she's like, I'm at the marketplace. They sell everything there, and it's crowded, a lot of people. And she said a guy got caught stealing. And my sister said, I felt so sorry for him, cause like that's like you can't do that over there, not and get caught, right? And so think about the mentality of my pop. This is how he raised, right? Like it wasn't like one or two people. She's like, they was beating him crazy, and it's not one or two people. It's everybody, ladies, men, old people, young people, kids, all that. Like you just can't do that over there. He got caught stealing the phone, she said. And I'm like, wow. And my sister, she like, I felt bad, but nobody over there feel bad. She just has an American, my sister, even though she was born there, she came over here as a baby, so she has an American mentality. That's why she's like, I feel bad.
Right.
But they don't feel bad over there. You're not supposed to be doing that.
Of course.
Period.
Of course.
So
what's next for you now? Pops moves out.
My father moves out.
Make a big decision. You stay home with mom. Or do y'all stay with mom?
Yeah, pardon. All of us stayed with my mother, and I think that's where a little bit of ties started to loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what a man brings to the table. A man brings discipline and structure to the table, and once they leave, that's kind of lost.
Right.
And with that, how one person can manage 8 people.
Wait, 80? It was 80 y'all?
Uh-huh.
You said that earlier?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Right. So that's hard to manage, and I'm the youngest. So I started getting into the street. You know what I mean? But the one thing that my pops did, he always emphasized education.
Right.
So although I was getting into the street, I never lacked off in school. It's fortunate for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got locked up, when I got accused for the murder, listen, to get out of prison it's gonna take brains. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how much money you have. It's rich people in jail. People think, I get money, I can get good resume. So that means that you would think that everybody in prison is in prison broke. There are people in prison with money and still can't get out. Money didn't help them. Mm-hmm. Right? There's people in the feds in the state with plenty of money and they can't get out of jail. Because evidence is evidence.
Yeah, facts.
Jury find you guilty with you.
That's it.
If you can't bribe them, you're going to jail. So, I mean, that's simple. But people think that money equates to freedom. And it's not always about that. Knowledge equates to freedom.
Right. So now you start going outside. Like, who were some of your first influences that make you start doing some bad things and make bad decisions? Was it some of your siblings that were doing things you followed, or some of your friends in school?
Yeah, my friends. Listen, my whole projects, to
Whole
be honest
projects.
with
Okay.
you. I'm not even going, like, my whole projects. Like, Fort Greene was brutal back in the 80s. Like, that was brutal. It was brutal. And, you know, a lot of people got killed from there. A lot of people got murdered, and a lot of people went to jail. And you know, me seeing that, you know, of course, it's gonna have some sort of influence. The good part about it was that with an education, I was able to see certain things that probably is the reason why I don't have natural life or dead right now. I'm able to speak to you right now. You know, like, I just didn't cross certain lines. You know what I'm saying? There's people that got caught up in drugs. You know, there's people that got caught up in a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like the robbery life, running around. You know, got caught up in that, and it turned out bad for them. A lot of my friends is dead. Like I did 18 and a half years. Like 98% of my friends that was there when I got locked up is not there anymore. He's you know.
So I have a question, and you know, I don't know if this question is gonna, you know, cause any sort of stir, but what were you doing that day then? Were you in
The
that
day he was killed?
No, the day the girl got shot.
The day the guy got shot. The day the little girl got shot and the shooting happened. I was at a friend's house, and I was at a friend's house. All right, let me give you an overall picture.
Please.
There was a time where I was hustling, and
Crack.
everything.
What hustler degree would you put yourself? What level of hustler would you put yourself on? Were you getting it, or you were just like
No, I wasn't getting it.
you was getting it and spending it?
No, because I was yes, I was getting it and spending it. I was young.
Nigga shit.
I was young, right? But I was doing everything. I was hustling. I was robbing. I was doing everything. Everything. Anything went. So, that's what I was doing. And the group of guys that I was doing it with, you know, they were serious guys. So, but see, my projects is like broke up into sections. Killer Ben is not from my section of Fort Greene, right? So even in the relationship, right? He's not from my section, right? Even me and him, this is my child friends, but he's from one side of the projects, I'm from the other side. That matters. So when you asked him about my father, he wouldn't see my father as much
I understand.
as somebody from my part of the projects, right? So, and on my part of the projects and my group of friends that I would be with every day in my building, it was serious guys. And what ended up happening was, you know, everybody was kind of cool. Killer Ben ended up coming home, and he was cool with guys from. I was like one of the older dudes too, so he came home and he was cool with affiliates of mine, not me. I'm not, and of course, a couple of days after him coming home, you know, he's moving around. You know, he's moving around the city, and the biggest thing that's happening is the Source Awards, and because I'm doing what I'm doing, it was kind of like nobody couldn't like hustle except for my group of friends. Nobody couldn't hustle on my side of the projects except my group of friends. And when this happened with Killer Ben, there was a guy from my neighborhood who, he was just into a lot of stuff. He was being extorted. He had a lot of beef. He had a lot of pressure on him. Another dealer. So when this took place, this dealer decided to go to homicide detectives and tell them that I'm the one that went out there and did the shooting. That's how I got involved.
Because you was at a friend's house.
Well, at a friend's house, that was the day it actually happened, right? But what I was just explaining to you was the whole atmosphere and what led up to that day.
I see what you're saying.
Right? What led all the way up into that day. And why this guy, now this is a guy that I grew up with too, who I know, that went and told detectives that I was the one that went out there and did the shooting. And detectives, again, they have a lot of pressure on them. They you know, it's on TV. They're looking to lock somebody up. A 4-year-old girl was murdered in cold blood. So they're looking to lock somebody up, and somebody is going to get locked up. It's just a matter of who. So when this kid said my name, that was like,
You was extorting him?
I wasn't extorting him.
Man, stop acting like, come on, man.
No,
You're some good guy, man.
no. I wasn't
You're a
extorting.
good guy, but
No, I
stop
really
it.
am. I really am. I wasn't extorting them. But again, right? Check this out. Here's the reality of the situation. If you're living in a rough neighborhood, you can't get away from anything.
True.
You really can't, right? So if my friend, there's a guy I know that's extorting you, but so what? I don't have anything to do with that, right? There's a million people doing things. What matters is what I'm doing. I'm on my business, right? I'm not getting proceeds from it. Nothing. But not everybody feels like that. Some people feel as though if you know somebody, like if I do something to somebody and I'm Queen's Flip friend, they mad at Queen's Flip, not me, right? You mad at Queen's Flip, and they say, well, why are you mad at him? Because he know him. And I'm pretty sure you go through that all the time, right? That you know, people feel like you taking sides, or just because you know somebody that you just feel some type of way. And that's how this kid felt. He felt like, you know, the guy that's extorting me, and I'm gonna tell police on you. And he did on this case.
But I'm pretty sure he could have picked plenty other names too. You know, like why would he pick your name out of the hat? You know what I'm saying?
You know what's weird is that question. I would love to ask him that question. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love to ask him that question. Like, you know, to this day, and it sounds weird because you'll say, you know, you have to be doing something to him. Mm-hmm. That's the weird part about it. I was doing absolutely nothing. I know this guy. Like I was saying, like I would see him, like I was saying what's up to him, like walking by him and saying what's up to him up until the day I got locked up. Like I didn't even know he told police that. I'm walking by him saying what's up to him and everything. I didn't even know we had an issue.
Wow.
Is he home?
Yeah.
Real quick before we get into that date, you know, I heard about a lot of official people in Fort Greene. You know, Supreme Magnetic. Heard the name D-Wiz as well. You know.
50 Cent.
Yeah, 50 Cent. Any of those guys you was associated with?
I know them.
You know them. You know, when I asked my uncle Eric B about these guys, you know, well, I think Supreme Magnetic, I think his brother on one of them just came home.
Eric B is your uncle?
Something like that.
Eric B used to mess with a girl in my building. Ask him. He used to mess with a girl I should see him all the time.
Somebody just came home from. I'm not asking.
Right.
What's wrong with you asking? You want to put somebody?
No,
else
I'm
in the hot seat?
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
Somebody else. You want to put Uncle E in the hot seat?
I'm not in the hot seat. It's funny.
Uh-huh.
No, it's funny.
I hear him.
It's funny. He used to come all the time.
Oh,
He used to
yeah?
come all the time, right? He used to come all the time to my project.
park
No, it's
right in
well
the
known.
projects.
It's well
He'll
known.
park right in
It's
the
well
projects, go
no.
right in
This
the
is
building.
well known. It's not like I'm telling.
Yeah.
It's well known. Rakim is from Long Island. People thought Rakim was from Brooklyn because of this. They used to come and see Supreme Magnetic. That's why he was cool with Supreme Magnetic. But he used to come to my building with a female he was dealing with. But he used to pull up, you know, females. Eric B, you know, and everybody know the girl, so it was, you know, it was well known, you know. So, but it was just funny that you said that, and you said, you know, Fort Greene, and then you mentioned Eric B because I used to see him all the time.
So now, so you said the guy that was getting extorted that lied on you. He said,
Duh.
chill out, man.
They gonna kill you in the comments.
Nah, yeah, jacket. Look,
They gonna kill you in the comments.
hold on, wait, look, listen.
Okay, sure.
You hear that, right?
Yeah, okay.
All right. That's so crazy. So,
Oh my god.
so all we know right now is that the day the little girl got killed, you was at a friend house. You was in the vicinity, and because a guy was being extorted by somebody you was associated with, he said that you did this
Yeah.
to him. You did this to the girl. So bring us to the day you got arrested.